Hey guys, so for today's movie review, I'm going to be telling you about a film called What's Eating Gilbert Grape. Some of you are probably really familiar with this film. I know Johnny Depp and Leo DiCaprio are both pretty well known for this film. But in What's Eating Gilbert Grape, if you don't know what it's about, I'm here to review it for you today. It's basically about a grocery store employee who has to take care of his mentally handicapped brother, who's played by Leonardo DiCaprio. The mother is very overweight. She never leaves the house. He has two. This Gilbert Grape character has two younger sisters as well that basically cook around the house. They do things around the house, but kind of like the mother, they never really leave their home. And so basically, it's up to Gilbert to take care of the brother since nobody else in the family really is. Um, the mother is overweight, so therefore she really can't go out and physically do a lot of things like the rest of the family can. And it'll be explained throughout the course of the film once you watch it, of course. But really brief, non spoiler history of the father. Basically, he kind of just left the family one day and they never really quite know why, but he was kind of out of it a lot whenever they were trying to do stuff as a family. And so basically, the mother kind of feels guilty about all this. That's why, we really never see her leave the home. And basically, like I said, it's up to Gilbert to kind of raise the family and kind of become both the parent, both the mother and the father figure of all these other kids and for, all the siblings he has in this family. But basically, this all becomes very challenging for him when he wants to pursue a relationship with a small town girl that's played by Juliette Lewis. And, he really has feelings for this girl. And, he just wants to pursue a relationship with her and basically get away from his family for a little while since, he's taken care of his family for a really long time. And, like I said earlier, he's kind of the mother and the father figure of this family. And he wants to become his own person, find his own meaning in life, and not have to always worry about taking care of the brother or taking care of the sisters or taking care of the mom or the house or if the dad ever comes back, figuring out where he kind of fits in with all this. And so it's basically Gilbert Grape finding not only meaning for himself, but trying to figure out how he can pursue a romantic relationship with this woman, but still be that good parental brother figure that he has been to his family the whole time, while also keeping his grocery store job. So I really enjoy What's Eating Gilbert Grape, you guys. I do kind of apologize that it took me as long as it did to get around to seeing this film, but for some one reason or another, I just didn't get around to seeing this film until just recently. And I gotta say, this is a very well done film, and I can definitely see why, when people think of Johnny Depp or Leonardo DiCaprio or Juliette Lewis, they think of this film, and for good reason, because this is a very well done movie. So, for my positives and negatives of What's Eating Gilbert Grape, Leonardo DiCaprio and Juliette Lewis, they really transform into these roles. Leonardo DiCaprio, I almost forgot I was watching him for a while. He really does become this mentally handicapped person that really seems like he struggles to, maintain a consistent lifestyle by himself. And Juliette Lewis, I think, really transforms to this role because you really like her a lot. You really want her to pursue this relationship with Gilbert Grape since he kind of is having a hard time by himself, figuring out what kind of person he can become outside of his family. And like I said, the two, both DiCaprio and Lewis, really transform into their roles here, and it's really quite masterful with what they're doing here in this movie. So really good performances from them. This film also has some great heartwarming moments. Just a lot of moments that kind of make you think about your own life and think about how you can improve your own life. Just how Gilbert Grape is trying to do that with himself. So just some great heartwarming moments here that'll really come close to home for you as you're watching this film. We also sympathize and support Gilbert Grape throughout the course of this film. You really do feel sorry for the guy when things aren't going well, and you really support Gilbert Grape when he's doing something different and good for his life that will ultimately make it a better life for him in the end. I also like the small feeling of this hometown because near the beginning of the film, Gilbert Grape talks about how it's kind of a boring town and how everybody always go to the bigger grocery store and not the grocery store that he works for, and how there really isn't a lot to do in this town, and his family is basically his life. And when he's not at the grocery store, he's taking care of them in some way, and he even brings stuff from home into the grocery store with him every day. And Like I said, I really like that really small feeling of this town. Like not a lot happens, and it's just really, really, really small, and that there's not really a lot that happens. And I don't know. I really liked the feeling that they were able to capture with this film. Also, this film was entertaining the whole time. You would think with what I was just telling you with my other positive of it being a small town and not a lot happening, this really is a really entertaining film. There's a lot of things going on in this guy's life that he always has to stay on top of, with his brother and with his sisters and mother and, figuring out if his dad's ever going to come back and him wanting to pursue this relationship with this girl and another thing that I won't get into detail on because it'd be probably a spoiler, but it does involve Mary Steenburgen as a housewife. So for those who see the film, you'll know what I'm talking about. It really is an entertaining film because there really is a lot going on in this guy's life, and you can easily see how he gets stressed out and has this desire to want to improve his life in some way and just move on to the next step and not have to be stuck in the situation of life that he seems to be stuck in. And for my negatives of this film, I felt the overall film of What's Eating Gilbert Grape needed more of a central conflict. There was definitely conflicts throughout the film, and obviously situations with, Gilbert running into conflicts of his own and, running into problems with the family and so forth. But to me, there really wasn't a central conflict of What's Eating Gilbert Grape. I understood that, the biggest point probably the film had was this guy wanting to pursue this relationship with this girl and for his family to be able to be their own people and to be able to take care of themselves so he can pursue his own life. But overall, I think the film just needed a bigger central conflict. I kind of felt like all these small conflicts were kind of making up for what could have been a big conflict, and that kind of hurts the film a little bit for me in a way. Also, the overall film just feels a little bit too ordinary. It kind of had what I thought the film was going in for, as far as direction with this film was. Um, I felt like they were kind of going in the route of Powder for those who've seen that, or maybe somebody had an ability or had a talent that they weren't aware of before. It kind of had that direction for a while I thought they were going to go with this. But after a while, it was just kind of very ordinary. And though that's not bad, it just kind of felt overly ordinary after a while. And that's, with it being such an entertaining film, I think it could have done better than just ordinary. And then for my last negative of this film, I thought Gilbert needed to have a bigger end result with the character. I felt like he was kind of the same character at the end of the film as he was at the beginning of the film. And though obviously he learned stuff, and though we as a viewer learned life lessons like he did and things like that, I felt like he was kind of in the same position at the beginning of the film as he was at the end of the film, and it kind of ruined the experience a little bit because it's like, well, he went through all this stuff, but he's still kind of the same person who's still stuck in the situation by the end of the movie. So it's just like, okay, well, they could have done something bigger here and they didn't. So overall, I am going to give What's Eating Gilbert Grape an 8.5 out of 10. It is a very well made film. It is a very heartwarming film. And I guarantee there's going to be a lot of really relatable moments in this film for those who choose to see it. But like I said, I think it needed more of a central conflict. I would have preferred something that didn't feel so ordinary like this film did. And I think the overall end result of the film could have been better. And I really would have liked to have seen, a bigger end result for Gilbert Grape for doing all the stuff he had to do in this film. But at the end of the day, he really didn't get anything back for himself. So, like I said, really great film, but there's just a few little small nitpicks I had about it that I think could have been better. But if you haven't seen What's Eating Gilbert Grape yet, if you like Johnny Depp, if you like Leonardo DiCaprio, or if you like Juliette Lewis, this is definitely one worth checking out. All three of them do great performances here, so definitely check out What's Eating Gilbert Grape. Once again, 8.5 out of 10 for me.